Sura Yasin, verse number 79. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم. Say, He will enliven them who created them for the first time, and He knows all creation. Being attentive to the creation of man may strengthen the faith of man in resurrection. Resurrection needs two things: the power of Allah in recreation of man and His cognizance to the people's deeds. This verse refers to both of them. The sentence which says, "Who created them for the first time," الَّذِي أَنْشَأَهَا أَوَّلَ, is a sign of His power, and this sentence saying, He knows all creation, وَهُوَ بِكُلِّ خَلْقٍ عَلِيمٌ, is a sign of His knowledge. In this verse, He commands the Prophet of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell this obstinate, proud and forgetful man that He gives life to him again who created him on the first day. Here is the commandment. Say, He will enliven them who created them for the first time. If today there is a rotten bone available from Him, once even this rotten bone did not exist either, and there was not also even any dust. Yes, He who created him of nothing, enlivening the decayed bones, is easier for Him. And if you think that when this rotten bone became dust and was scattered everywhere, who could recognize those parts and gather them from different places? The answer to this question is also clear. He is aware of every creature and knows all His specialities. The verse continues saying, and He knows all creation. He who has such a power and knowledge will have no difficulty for the subject of resurrection and enlivening the dead. If we turn a magnet amongst a heap of dust which contains scattered pieces of iron, it will quickly gather all these pieces of iron while it is no more than an inanimate being. By a single command, Allah can easily gather all the particles of every man's body in any place of the earth it may be. He is aware of not only the principle of the creation of man, but also of their intentions and actions, and the account and reckoning of them is clear with Allah. Verse number 80. الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون. He who made for you fire from the green tree, and behold, from it you kindle fire. Allah gathers the opposites. He can gather water and fire, which do not have consistency with each other. In this verse, the Quran brings some more discussions about the subject of resurrection and follows it by 3 or 4 interesting ways. At first it says, He who made for you fire from the green tree, and behold, from each you kindle fire. Allah is also able to give life to these rotten bones. What a wonderful and interesting meaning it is, that the more we contemplate about it, the more and deeper concepts it delivers to us. In principle, many of the verses of the Quran contain several meanings. Some of them are simple for all people in any time and any place, while some others are deep for the elect, and finally some of them are completely deep, which are for the elites of the elect, or for other times and centuries in far distant future. In the meantime, these meanings do not contrast with each other, and in the same moment they are gathered in an expressive concept. The first interpretation that many of the earlier Islamic commentators have mentioned for it, and it is a simple and clear meaning which is understandable for all people, is that in ancient times it was a custom among the Arabs that for kindling fire they used the wood of some special trees called mark and afar, which grew in the deserts of Arabia. The Arabic term mark and afar were the names of two kinds of kindling wood. The earlier was put in the below and the latter was put over it, and like a kindling stone, a spark came out from them, and in fact they were used instead of today's match. The Quran implicitly says that the Lord who can bring out fire from these green trees is also able to give life to the dead. Water and fire are two opposite things. The one who can put them beside each other has the ability to put life beside death and death beside life. Praise be to the Creator of the existence, who keeps the fire inside water and holds water in the middle of fire. It is certain that giving life to the dead people is not a difficult thing for him. If we step out beyond this meaning, we reach a more punctilious commentary, and it is that the property of kindling fire by the wood of trees is not limited to the wood of marach and afar, but this property exists in all trees and in all of the materials of the world, although the wood of the above mentioned two trees, because of their material and specific gravity, are more appropriate for this action. In short, if any piece of wood of any tree strikes hard on another piece, they produce a spark, even if it is the wood of the green trees. It is for this reason that sometimes there happens some vast, horrible fire accidents inside forests that nobody has been their factor. Their only factor has been the strong blow of winds and storms that cause the branches of trees to crush to each other, and from between them a spark has come to burn dry leaves, and then the blow of wind has helped it, and this has been the main factor. This is the very spark of electricity which appears by friction and rubbing. This is the same fire which is hidden inside of all particles of beings of the world, and at the time of friction and rubbing, it shows itself in such a way. God creates fire from a green tree. This is a vaster commentary which makes the perspective of gathering the opposites in the creation vaster, and which shows subsistence in the destruction more clear. But Here there is a third commentary which is deeper than that, which has been found out by the help of modern science, which we have called it the resurrection of energies explanation. One of the important actions of plants is the subject of taking carbon from the air and making vegetal cellules, the main part of which are carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. Now we may see how this cellule is made. The small parts of the trees and plants take the carbonic gas from the air and analyze it. Then they release oxygen and keep its carbon to themselves. They combine it with water and make wood for the trees from it. At the end, the action of kindling fire by using wood of trees, though it is a simple matter in our view, paying careful attention to it makes it clear that it is one of the most surprising matters, because the most part of materials of which a tree is formed is water and some particles of the soil, and neither of them is combustible. What a power is this that has made the energetic matter from water, soil, and air, which has been used closely in the life of man for thousands of years. Verse number 81. أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم. Is not he who created the heavens and the earth able to create the like of them? Yes, he can, and he is the creator, omnipotent, the knower. In speaking with the disbelievers, we ought to begin with the insignificant subjects and then be referred to greater subjects. The first parable was a sperm, the next was the green tree, and the third was the creation of the heavens. Now this verse brings, by the way of infinite power of Allah, and implicitly says that whether the one who has created the heavens and the earth with those abundant glories, wonders, and amazing regular systems cannot create the like of men who have become rotten and return them to new life? Yes, he can, and he is the omnipotent creator, the knower. The verse says, is not he who created the heavens and the earth able to create the like of them? Yes, he can, and he is the creator, omnipotent, the knower. This sentence, which has been started with a positive interrogation with a negative sense, in fact propounds a question for the vigilant consciences and alerts wisdoms that whether you do not look at this splendid sky with all its wonderful planets and fixed stars and the numerous systems and galaxies in it, that any piece of it is a vast world. The one who is able to create such an extraordinary, great and regular world and universe, how is it possible that he would not be able to enliven the dead? And since the answer of this question is present in the heart of any vigilant person, it does not wait for its answer, and immediately implicitly says, yes, he has such power. And next to it, the Quran emphasizes on these two attributes of Allah, which must be noted in relation to this subject: the attribute of creativity and his infinite knowledge, which in fact is an evidence upon the former statement, saying that if you are in doubt concerning his power in relation with creation, he is a creator. And if the act of gathering these particles needs knowledge, he is omnipotent, and from any point of view, he is aware and knower. By the way, the Arabic antecedent of the Quranic term mislahum, the like of them, returns to human beings. That is, the creator of the heavens and the earth is able to create the like of man. Verse 82 to 83. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. His command when he intends anything is only to say to it, be, so it is. So glory be to him in whose hand is the domination of everything, and unto him you shall be returned. In the creation of existence, Allah needs neither a means nor any help nor anyone who removes the barriers. This holy verse is an emphasis upon what was said in the former verses. It is an emphasis on this fact that for his will and power, every creation is easy. It is the same for him to create the lofty skies and the earth, or that he creates a small insect. The verse says, his command when he intends anything is only to say to it, be, so it is. Everything depends on his only single command, and about the one who has such a power, there is no room of doubt that he can give life to the dead. It is evident that the command of Allah here is not a command in expression, and also the Arabic phrase kun, be, is not a phrase that states by utterance, because neither has he utterance nor is he in need of expressions, but the purpose is his will upon the direct creation of something, and the application of the word kun, be, is for the sake that there is not a shorter, smaller and quicker than this one in consideration. Yes, as soon as his intention comes to something, that the thing comes into being. In other words, when Allah intends something, it will immediately come into being, so that there is no distance between his will and the existence of things. Therefore, the application of command saying and the phrase be are an explanation for the subject of creation and making men understand his power. And as we said before, the command in expression, utterance, and the word containing be and e are not necessary. All of them indicate the rapid existence of the things after the will of Allah. He does not need any utterance and words. And again, in other more clear words, there are no more than two stages in the deeds of Allah, the stage of will and the stage of creation. In the above mentioned verse, the second stage has been referred to as command, say, and the phrase be. How beautifully Amirul Mu'minin Ali alayhi salam says in one of his sermons. When he intends to create something, he says be, and there it is, but not through a voice that strikes the ears is that call heard. His speech is an act of creation. His like never existed before this. If it had been created, it should have been a second God. In other words, every call needs an addressee. And when a thing has not been existing, how does Allah address it by the phrase be? Is a non-existent thing addressable? This very meaning has been mentioned in some other verse in the Quran. In Surah Al-Baqarah, number 2, verse 117 says, "And when he decrees a matter to be, he only says to it, be, and it is." In the next verse, which is the last verse of the Sura Yasin, in general conclusion on the subject of origin and resurrection, it ends beautifully this discussion where it says, "So glory be to him in whose hand is the domination of everything, and unto whom you shall be returned." Regarding to the fact that the Arabic word malakut is derived from mulk in the sense of government and ownership, and the additional Arabic letters waw and ta in the Quranic form of malakut are for emphasis and exaggeration. Then the concept of the verse is such: the unconditioned sovereignty and ownership of everything is in the hand of Allah, and such a Lord is far from any inability, and in this case, giving life to the dead and quickening the rotten bones and scattered dust will not bring any difficulty for him, since certainly all of you will return to him, and the resurrection is true. Sadaqallahul Aliyul Azim wa sadaqa Rasulallahul Karim wa nahnu ala dhalika minashahidin wa shakirin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.